everyone, I'm Chrissy. Welcome to episode 17 of Chrissy Crafts. Come see what's on my hook and needles, what's in my hoop, and what's happening at home. So hello, I'm coming to you from the border of Surrey and West Sussex in the United Kingdom. A big welcome to all my new followers and a big virtual hug to all my existing subscribers. Welcome back. Now, the past 2 months have been all about yarny get-togethers. I've been everywhere from the knitting and stitching show in London to Yarndale up north to Brighton for a special yarny get-together. I've made lots of new friends and had a really great time. But it's like I'm a bit of a yarn groupie because where there's yarn, I'll just show up. There's Festiwool coming up in November up north of London somewhere. I'm going to that too. I feel like I should have a t-shirt, like a concert t-shirt, like I'm a groupie of a band, except for it's just yarn. Before I get into all the whips and finished objects and everything going on in my crafty world, I want to say a humongous thank you to everyone who took part in my Say Something Nice giveaway. We had such an amazing response, way more than I ever thought. And it just made me really happy to see everyone saying nice things about each other and tagging friends and generally spreading the love. It was a really good giveaway. And I think I'm going to do it again sometime because I think everybody had a real feel-good factor with it. And I'm going to keep the post up there, so if you're ever feeling a bit glum, go to my Instagram account and go on to the Say Something Nice giveaway post and just start reading and you'll feel really happy. I would like to say a big congratulations to the winners. It was Susan from Wool I Am. I'll put her details right down below. And she tagged Trish from Trish Lamoose. And the great thing was with these two, they are such fun accounts to follow. They each have little characters that they create. Like Susan has fun little mice, really cute little mice, and they're always on escapades and things. And Trish just writes the funniest things about all her creations. So it's worth checking them out. I was really happy when they won because they always make me happy and they always have nice things to say and fun things to say. Now let's get on to it. What is on my hook? Or off my hook? Well, what am I wearing today? As if you didn't notice already, it's not a shawl, it's not a scarf, it's not a cowl, it's a blanket, and I'm going to wear it every day for days and days because I finished my Circle in Squares granny. Finally! And you will notice all the ends are woven in. Yes, indeedy. All of the ends. Look at all of those ends. Squash them all in a jar. It was a huge labor of love, but oh my gosh, I'm so happy with this. So the border, I think I might have talked about this last time, I'm sure I did. I just kept it really simple. If you can see, I did different colors on different sections because I didn't have enough of each color to go around. So I just did double crochets, US single crochets with the color, and then skipped, with the chain in between. And then when I was doing the tote border, I would just come down deep in between those two. I don't know, that should make sense, but I'm sure it doesn't. If you really are keen to know exactly what I did as I made it up as I went along, then leave a comment below and I'll post some sort of little mini tutorial or the pattern. But it's literally just double crochets and then going it down in between the chains. And then some half trebles, about 3 rows, until I felt like I was done. Doesn't it just sing? Isn't it the prettiest? And it is really soft. So I'm going to wear it because it was a huge undertaking for me because I never finish anything. And so I don't think I could get away with wearing this on the school run. What do you think? Oh, I love it. So that's done. Done. Anyway, let's go back to all the yarn groovy stuff I've been doing. Starting off with Yarndale. I talked about it a little bit in my last episode, but I'm going to talk about it a bit more now because I'm still on the Yarndale high. And let me show you a few more things I got. This is noisy, but it's so pretty. I I kind of don't want to take it out of the packaging because I need to ball it up really neatly. It's from Mothy and the Squid. So noisy. It's from Mothy and the Squid, which is a fabulous... I did that with such aplomb. Look at that. Oh, darling. Who needs fur when you have cotton granny squares? That yarn was from Mothy and the Squid. Lovely indie yarn dyer that I met up at Yarndale. It was a fantastic stall. She dyes up yarns in really bright, bold colors, and they're all linked to nature. But that rainbow pack really, really caught my eye. I'm going to be noisy again because I really want to show you a bit. It's just the intensity of the color is what drew me to it. I mean, look at them, so intense. Not just bright rainbow colors, but you know, just a really rich saturation of color there. This is destined to be a cushion for my little girl. Not so little, she's going to be 8 soon. And she wants me to make her a little pillow for her room. And I have a design in mind, but I'm not going to talk about it until I've actually finished it. And that will be a WIP that I finish quickly because her birthday's coming up. Yes, I will finish that. I just realized if I say it to you, then I really have to stick to it, because otherwise in a couple weeks everybody will be saying to me, where did that cushion go to, unless I make it for her 9th birthday. No, it's going to be for 8th birthday, and I will do it, and I will finish it. She said with gusto. I'm getting a bit warm now. It is cozy, but goodness, I'll just sit with it on my lap. Oh. Anyway, so that was from Mothy and the Squid. I also got... Oh, here it is. From Mothy and the Squid. Even though they had all these lovely bright colors, they have a seasonal range that's not available forever. Once they're gone, they're gone. And this is called Autumn is Coming. And it was just so beautiful. The range of greens, tealy green to olivey green, browns and golden kind of bronzy colors. And I told myself I wasn't going to just buy yarns willy-nilly. I was going to buy things that I had projects for, but I don't have a project for that. But it was just so beautiful and autumnal. And because it's in short supply, because I know she's not going to have it for very long, I thought, okay, get it while I can. And then I'll find something for it. The other thing, I'm just drawn to the rainbows, but another person I love seeing at the yarn shows is Devon Sun Yarns. Again, she had that such a bright, beautiful, noisy. They're Twinkle Mini Skeins, they're called. And if you can see, there's a sparkle. Do you see the sparkle? So this is for my little one, and she wants I always make her a new rainbow hat for winter. And so that's going to be a new rainbow hat now that she's older. I won't promise that one by her birthday, but I'll promise it in time for like winter, Christmas time. The cushion comes first. I have another finished object. I do. It's a Woolly Mahusive giant star table mat. Oh, it stretches out when I hold it by the points. I took part in the Great British Stitch Off for the 2nd year running, and a whole group of us, we had different types of Woolly Mahusive yarn to work with, and this was giant ribbon. It's very wide. Oh, it's falling apart here. It's a wide, stretchy ribbon. It comes in different shades. I chose a bright red because I wanted to make something Christmassy. And there's loads and loads of it, and on the reel I had enough to make 2 stars. I've written up the pattern. It will be available at Woolly Mahusiv's website. It's a very brief pattern, so I might actually pop it in the show notes below. It's so simple. You can make them out of thread up to giant Woolly Mahusive yarn. I'll put a picture in here because it looks much nicer when it's actually laid out on a table. It'll make a very festive Christmas table mat, and the reel makes 2 of them, so I'm going to have them on my Christmas table. Perfect for... it's like a trivet or a hot plate. Anyway, I didn't get through the next round, but that's okay because I have plenty of other WIPs to be working on. There's no nice way to show that off, but it was great fun to make. and it works up really quickly. And again, because it's so big, it's a very quick make, and the ribbon frogs really easily. So after Christmas, you could just frog it and make a big love heart for Valentine's Day. I might do that. Okay, the other thing I've been working on that I'm going to finish soon is the Good Vintage Cardie. Is that jiggling? Is the Good Vintage Cardie from Simply Crochet. The one that I've had to resize and work on, and it's not been easy, but it's getting there. This is the front left. This is the back. And this is the front right. Why am I doing this? So I've got the back and the sides done. Really wish we can make fringe a big fashion statement so I wouldn't have to sew in these ends. Good grief. Oh, that's just going to be I mean, I just finished doing all these ends. Anyway, so we're getting there. We're getting there. I need the sleeves. I've started one sleeve. I just have the initial chain for it. But I'm really happy with how this is going so far. I love the colors. And it's going to fit. If you look back a couple episodes, I started off following the instructions, and the small size was just enormous. It wrapped around. Anyway, so I've had to kind of redo it and guess as I go along. I had to rip the back out and start the back over again. It's been a labor of love. Well, not love. It's been a labor of stubbornness. So I worked on that partly. I was correcting the back when I went to Brighton recently. After Yarndale, after a few weeks at Yarndale, there was the Socks on the Beach get-together in Brighton. It was organized by my friend Nikki. She's Clara Peggotty on Instagram, and my new friend Caroline, who is Seaside Girl Knits on Instagram. And they organized this big yarny get-together in Brighton. We met at Yak, the yarn and knitting shop in Brighton, and across the road is a pub that we all went to, and Nikki had reserved the upstairs room, and there were about 24 people there, all knitting and crocheting, and it was so amazing just to walk into a room full of, it was like a giant knit along, crochet along get together. And we chatted, I made lots of new friends, I baked, I brought along, well, first off, my favorite chocolate cookies. I'll put the link below. I've talked about them before. It's a Martha Stewart recipe, and they are just amazing cookies. And I also brought a pumpkin pie for Nikki, because when I met her at Yarndale, met in person for the first time, we're talking about American stuff, and she says she loves pumpkin pie, and I thought, well, I'll bring her one then. Because I don't know many people who like pumpkin pie over here. I mean, nobody really hates it, but most people either haven't tried it. And so pumpkin pie, if you're not familiar with it, it's almost like a Marmite thing. You either love it or not love it. It's not, I don't think it would make sense to actually actively hate pumpkin pie, because it's all right. It's not one of my favorites, but I don't actively hate it, but it's just tradition though, isn't it? For Thanksgiving, you just have to have a pumpkin pie, and the seasonings, with the spices of the cinnamon and the nutmeg and the ginger. It's all really lovely, warm and comforting. But I've never really met anybody who in England who actively says, I love pumpkin pie. So when Nikki said that, I thought, I'm gonna make you a pie. So I'll put in a picture, and I took a pie along. And she really loved it. Yippee! And lots of people tried it and liked it. I had a little piece, and then I had a lot of chocolate cookies, because I like the chocolate cookies best. I have some tips about it, but I'll save that for the What's Happening at Home section. Let's get back to the yarny goodness. So while I was there, I worked on my Match and Move shawl, because that's the one thing I'm knitting properly. Where is it? I did take the cardigan, and I was crocheting and things, but I know there were a lot of knitters there, so I kind of felt like I had to show that I could knit-ish. And get some, look, it's growing. It is growing. I actually got a good couple rows done in Brighton. Oh, that's lovely, isn't it? it's just nice to see on a gray, dreary day like this. It's getting there. Oh, yay. So that was a jolly good time in Brighton. Thank you, ladies, for organizing it. And it was so nice making lots of new friends. Hello to everyone I met in Brighton. It was awesome seeing you. And Nikki and Caroline, please let's do another one again really soon. I had such a good time. The day after Brighton, I went up to the Knitting and Stitching show in London. Oh, it was a really busy weekend. But my friend Sarah from Annaboo's house invited me and my friend Sharna from Sweet Sharna to go up to London to go to the last day of the Knitting and Stitching show. So we did. Well, I got some knitting needles. I can't remember where I put them. They're tiny, like 2.25 or something like that. And they're Hiya. I'll show you next time because they're sitting around here somewhere, but literally there's like a load of stuff at my feet. Sarah gave me some yarn. We're going to knit some socks together. So this is Head Over Heels by Stylecraft. It is 75% superwash wool, 25% nylon, perfect for socks. We don't want to use really, really gorgeous posh yarn for our first pair of socks because I'm probably going to make a pig's ear of it, and so I just want to use something that is inexpensive but really jolly. Look at those pretty colors. They're going to be really lovely. Thank you for that, Sarah. And then we also have the My First Socks pattern by my friend Sandra of Cherry Heart. There's her website. And I know lots of people who've made these socks as their first pair of socks. And it's apparently a very good, easy pattern to follow. Sandra's instructions are always very clear for all of her patterns that I have of hers. And if I get stuck at all, I'm going to go straight to the author and ask for some help. I also got some embroidery related things at the Knitting and Stitching show. So without further ado, what is in my hoop? So I wasn't planning on buying anything. There. That's just where you need to stop. I love that. It's famous last words. I wasn't planning on buying anything. Basically, wherever I go, I could say that. But it was also a knitting and stitching show. I wasn't planning on buying any embroidery supplies because I have tons of embroidery threads and things, and they last a long time, embroidery threads do. But then I happened upon a wall of beautiful silk ribbons for silk ribbon embroidery. That one's come a bit loose. It's Maytime Distributors. Maytime Distributors. They're from Australia, hand dyed. There's a whole wall of variegated ones, solid ones. She delivers internationally because she's back in Australia now, and so I'm going to be calling on her again. This one is Antique Rose. It has like a dark mauvey pink, but then it also has like this taupe. Oh, it matches me. Maybe I'll have to jazz up this. Oh, that'd be pretty, wouldn't it? Oh, I might add a couple little roses to my collar here, my Everset plain collar. Could have put in a bit more of an effort in today, darling. Anyway, so that is the Antique Rose ribbons. And then this one is, no, that's not Antique Rose. This is Old Rose. This is Antique Rose. So again, the different rosy shades and a little bit of creamy yellowy color there. Then we have Early Spring. And finally, Rose Leaf. All about the roses. Oh, that's pretty. Look, it's like almost like purpley mauve and greens. Progress on my autumn wreath. Not been much progress because I've been out and about so much and doing way too much with all the yarny stuff, but I'm going to really make a concerted effort to finish this soon. So I did the twigs. I did a little spider's web. I started doing the, what's it called? Cotonoster? I forget the name of the, it's a shrub in my garden. This is all stuff in my garden. Cotonoster? I forget. I don't know how to pronounce it. Anyway, it's a shrub that gets bright red berries that the blackbirds love eating all winter long. That's what it is. The blackbird berry shrub. So they're just French knots, and I'm just stitching in the leaves and everything. Then these are the blackberries. I've mixed up some purple and some maroon threads. This is all with the DMC colors that I showed a couple episodes ago. Gorgeous threads, gorgeous jewel tones. So I'm loving doing this, even though it's a bit slow stitching. We could all use this to slow down, though. That's why I like embroidery. It helps you slow down and just take your time with something. So next I'm going to put in some leaves. I was gathering some leaves today out in my garden just to use as templates, like some Boston ivy, the bright reds. There's an oak tree down the road, so I got some tiny oak leaves, do some yellows as well. Anyway, that is coming along quite nicely. Finally, what's happening at home? Well, what's happening now is I'm just settling down and not doing much of anything. The past few weeks, I've been way too busy, and even though it's all been fun, it's taken their toll. And last week, I spent most of the week not doing much of anything except for kind of nursing a bit of a cold. Lost my voice by Sunday evening. It was all a bit much. You don't want to say no to anything because it's all such fun, you know? At the time when you're planning things, just, yeah, I'll do that, and write it in the diary and on the calendar. But then when it's all happening, suddenly by the end of a really busy week, I look back and think, I've had a great time, but oh my gosh, I just need to be alone and quiet for a while. So last week I laid low, and it did me the world of good because now the kids are on half term and I'm with them all day, every day. So I have lots of energy now for them. Pie. So I made this pumpkin pie and I've found the perfect recipe. My brother a couple years ago got me this cookbook. Oh, it's a giant 3-ring binder jobby. America's Test Kitchen Family Cookbook. Now, to those in England who aren't familiar with it, America's Test Kitchen, this is such a reliable book. It's available on Amazon, so that's why I'm showing it to you, because I checked and you can get it on Amazon in the UK. America's Test Kitchen does what it says. They get all the recipes and test them over and over and over again and find the very best way to make something. So, and all the family cookbook's great because it's all the family classics that, you know, macaroni and cheese and tomato soup, all sorts of stuff. Anyway, birthday cake, anything like that. They found the very best recipe of everything. And it is such a fab cookbook. Everything I've made in there is exactly perfect, including the pumpkin pie, because last year I made a pumpkin pie and it's one of those British bake-off things where you just wonder if it's going to work or not, and there was a bit of a soggy bottom and I was mortified and angry. Anyway, so I thought, okay, when I make one this time, I want to make sure no soggy bottoms, and America's Test Kitchen does the greatest thing. They have a fantastic pastry recipe, and for something like a pumpkin pie, you actually blind bake it just for a little while, not completely through, but for maybe 15-20 minutes or so, with the baking beans in it, and then you take it out, and when it's hot, you put the warm pumpkin custard mix into the hot crust and bake it again for 20 minutes or so. Oh my gosh, it was perfect. Even if you don't like pumpkin pie, you could appreciate that it actually turned out perfectly, even if you don't like it. The pastry was cooked through and golden and lovely and flaky, and the pumpkin custard was set. I was really happy with how it turned out. So that's a good book to get and to have on hand if you just want to know when you make something first time it's going to be perfect. That's a good one. And if you don't want to get it, but you still want to make pies, I'm going to start blind baking a lot of my pies where I'm worried about a soggy bottom, even if it's for 10 minutes. I think just kind of getting it started, because then also the round bit of the crust, it didn't burn either. I was worried it was going to get too dark and I'd have to cover it up, but it didn't. It was just it baked perfectly. It's a revelation. Anyway, thank you to my little brother for getting me that a couple years ago. I love a good, reliable cookbook. Do you have a favorite cookbook, or one that you know is always going to give you something good? Whatever you try, leave me a list below. I love cookbooks. I collect them. I have like more than 100, and I'm happy to add to that. So let me know your favorite cookbook. So that's all from me today. Time to go get back to the kids, get them some dinner. I can't believe that I've been able to film and they've stayed quiet. So either they're being really good, or when I open that door, I'm going to be really upset. I'm sure they're good, but you never know. Until I talk to you next time, have a great couple weeks and happy crafting. Bye! Oh, fiddlesticks. Fiddlesticks, I've left a whip downstairs. Excuse me. Making no sense today, making no sense.